And I do think we are live. It's the Down Beach Buzz podcast for January 23, 2025. We got Sherry Lilienfeld here. She's the EXP expert from EXP Realty. Go to realtysherry.com. Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Brigantine. She's your gal for residential, commercial, whatever. EXP Realty with Sherry Lilienfeld. And Paul Skolage is here. He's from rate.com, senior vice president at rate.com. Buy a house, refinance, get a rate quote. Maybe you want to just talk to Paul about finance and fishing. He can do both quite well. Go to rate.com with Paul Skolage. So what we'll do today is we will start out the program with 4 minutes. It's a good 4 minutes of a county executive, Denny Levinson, talking about that dreaded phrase, revaluation, countywide reval. And he calls out the city of Margate, our beloved Margate. Denny is getting a little frustrated by not getting buy-in from all the different municipalities to make sure their valuations, their assessments are close to 100% as possible. Then we will talk to Paul, and Paul's going to give us what's the scoop on the 30-year fixed rate and other things pertaining to buying, selling, refinancing your home down the shore or maybe up in the Philly area, all courtesy of rate.com. And then Sherry will we'll do a little walkthrough of a new property along Amherst Avenue. Sherry, we'll do that, right? We're going to do a little walkthrough.
Yeah.
Don't look too enthusiastic about it. Jeez.
I always love talking about local real estate. Yes, okay. I'm enthusiastic.
Yes.
Oh, can you? I don't think Paul could hear. Paul, can you hear? What do you? Yeah, he's having a hard time hearing.
Really, he can't hear that, huh? He was listening in before, though, right? Are you good, Paul? No, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right. What happened? He was listening. We were going back and forth before, though, right?
Yeah. So, let me see if he's texting me. Sorry, guys.
I think that's on his side.
Yeah. I mean, because you can hear me. I can hear you. All right. Well, let's just play this video. Yeah, he was making a sound like he couldn't hear.
Okay, we're going to watch the video, and here we go. And then maybe Paul can fix that up, okay? You all set?
Yep.
Let me go here. And here we go. This is from the other night, January 21st, 2025, Atlantic County Executive Denny Levinson talking about revals. Why don't I just shut up and we'll play it right now? Here we go.
Taxpayers would stand to benefit from something I've been requesting for decades. Countywide tax assessment. Before I start, tell you why. No one has worked harder to get this done than John Risley. We sat down, we met with everybody, we did everything we possibly could do. But it was like herding cats. I would like to revisit this idea for Atlantic County in 2025 with the full cooperation and support of the Board of Commissioners. As hard as we work to reduce county taxes, our efforts and the cost saving to taxpayers is often offset by artificial increases in municipal property values due to the lack of any regimented revaluation or reassessment process. Last year, we reduced the county taxes by 5 cents per hundred. But many taxpayers failed to realize that savings because their tax bill reflected an increase based on an inflated property value on their county tax bill. They go on the radio, the commissioners go on the radio, and we're not called liars, but we're questioned. You said the property taxes went down 5 cents in the county. Mine went up. Not the truth. It is the truth. And here's why. I'm using Margate as an example because our newest commissioner is from Margate. And I think it was fitting, especially in the position Margate is in this present time. Margate, for example, is only slightly above 50% assessed value. That means a $1 million municipally assessed home is taxed like it's a $2 million property on the county tax roll. Now follow that. You got an assessment of $1 million. but you're paying as if your property is worth $2 million. The further below 100%, the higher the value of the property. A $1 million property is 50% of $2 million. That's why they're in the circumstances they're in. I'm sure I'm talking to everybody in the room. Very few towns are as close to 100% like they should be. So you're paying more on your taxes than you should be. It is the obligation and is the law that you should be as close to 100% of your value. Now, Risley and I went through this continually from town to town, and some listened, some didn't. And if we did have 100% assessment, we would all be paying our fair share instead of some paying more and some paying less. You're living next door to somebody. You just built your house. It's a brand new house. You have actual value. The guy next to you has been living there for 40 years, paying with an old assessment. You're paying more than him. He's not meeting his fair share. And that can be solved with people of goodwill that will stand up and make things occur. As county executive, all I can do is suggest. And the municipalities, it's up to them to decide whether they want to do the right thing or stay exactly where they are. Now, when the state tells them you got to do this, they all promise we're going to do it. And of course, it goes away. The county has no say in these state and municipal formulas. It is imperative that all towns be at or close to 100%. So taxes are based on true property values. Countywide tax assessment could ensure consistent property tax administration and valuation.
So what I'm going to do is just give you some idea of what the you guys can hear me, right? How about you, Paul? Is that good? Is that good, Cher?
Yeah, Paul sent me a text that he said he was good. So Paul, can you hear us now?
Sorry, I was on mute. Oh, good.
That's
Sorry
okay.
that.
So just to give you some additional information, Denny Levinson, the county executive for the County of Atlantic, he said, listen, we got to do better revals. We got to do them more often. Things are getting out of whack. And I'm going to have Sherry from EXP and Paul from rate.com give their feedback on that 4-minute clip. I think that's the first time they saw it. This is the second time I've seen it. But Denny said stuff like inflated property values, artificial values. Those are some fighting words. So if I come over here, and it's a story that I'm writing as we speak on DownbeachBUZZ. You know, that really cool website that everyone's watching and reading right now?
Of course.
So when was the last time the Down Beach area towns did a citywide revaluation? Margate was 2018, Ventnor 2017, Longport 2018, Brigantine's the worst at 2016. I'm looking at you, Vince, Sarah, Mr. Mayor. We love you, but Denny's coming after your ass, I think. Summers Point 2019. And I know somebody from Summers Point that owns properties there. Summers Point is religious. Every 5 years, a reval in Summers Point. And Atlantic City, they just did one recently, 2020. So Denny is getting pretty ticked off because things are getting out of whack. But to be honest, I think most people, quite frankly, are afraid of these revals. But it is I think what I understand it to be is it's a revenue neutral. The city's not bringing in more money. And yes, maybe you guys will agree or disagree. 1/3 of the taxpayers will get a hike in taxes. 1/3 will stay neutral, stay the same. 1/3 will pay less taxes. That's what I read. What do you think, Cher? What did you think of the video, and what do you think people in Margate are thinking right now?
Well, people always get afraid when they hear reevaluation. Their taxes are going up. And when I was listening to him, actually what he said made a lot of sense to me. You need to, I do see this. I see this in a lot of homes. The tax assessment value is totally off from the value. So it does make sense to go in and get everyone on the same playing field. That's what he's saying. It needs to be fair and equitable based on the actual value of your home. So to go in and reevaluate and make everybody on the same playing field. But my question is, okay, so you reevaluate these homes. Obviously, a lot of homes, especially like in Margate, had doubled since the last assessment. And people are afraid, okay, now my tax bill is going to double. So my assumption is that when they reevaluate everything, the tax rate, the rate that you're charged your taxes on, which is multiplied by the value, actually needs to come down. If your basis is going to, let's say, double for Margate, the rate should come down, but then it's more equitable based on the value of your home. So that's oh, someone is asking, should buyers consider this? You know, I always tell people when I look at the assessment of their home and they're buying it twice as much, I say you can and should expect that your taxes will go up, and I give them some ratio what it's going to go up by. So anyway, I do think it makes sense that you got to reassess, but he needs to talk more about what's going to happen with that rate once you reassess, and that might help a lot of fear.
How about you, Paul? Paul Scollage from rate.com. How does what Denny Levinson, the county exec, what he just said, how does that affect your business in the mortgage and finance industry?
I mean, historically, a reassessment has never gone down ever, right? So when people fear reassessments, they're in fear that their taxes are going to go up no matter what. When I was in Brigantine, I did a reassessment. I hired a tax expediter that went in there and was able to get me a little bit of a lower rate. But historically, every reassessment is going to go up. To hear that people are paying double obviously impacts people's ability to buy, because that impacts their debt to income ratios. So if you're buying $1 million house, but it's assessed as being as $2 million, are those taxes really doubled on what it should be? Now that person looking to buy that property might not be able to afford it based off of the increase in the tax hike. So it's bizarre that, you know, Brigantine since 2016 hasn't been reassessed. If I look at that, I'm thinking, if I get reassessed in Brigantine, my taxes are going up. That's historically what happens. So artificial inflation is what he said.
Yeah, what do you think about those words, artificial and inflated? Because I think I've mentioned those words in the past in relation to all of a sudden a McMansion being turned into an Airbnb, and it just, you know, people are getting into that business, and it inflates, or it really raises up that home price. So it's interesting to hear Denny Levinson discuss those phrases, artificial and inflated. They got it. That's not good to hear coming out of the county executive's mouth, huh, Paul?
No, not at all. It makes me kind of second guess right now, sitting with 2 properties in Brigantine. You know, taxes have gone up year over year. I've never seen a decrease in taxes ever.
So were you surprised to see that Brigantine did not?
For the worst, 2016.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Historically, without hearing that person speak, I would be like, great, that's awesome. 2016, we haven't been reassessed. Perfect. Don't reassess us. After hearing his speak.
And it looks like there's really no teeth in the enforcement of this. It seems like the towns, like, for example, I think here, so this is some new, I believe this is all accurate information. Over the past 24 months, reflecting the positive growth of Ventnor, the city's 2025 rateable base is what, 2.2 billion? Am I reading that right? That's an increase of $39 million from last year. So all this money's coming in from all this construction and, you know, new home builds, Margate, Ventnor, Longport, Brigantine, but everybody still raised the tax rate by about 5%. How did that happen?
Now I know why Brigantine's at 2016. They don't want to reassess, and all of a sudden they go down.
I know. So let's take a look at the benefits of a REVAL, the upside and the downside. It ensures fairness and equity in property assessments. It reduces the likelihood of tax appeals, because towns hate tax appeals, right? So that's something to really consider. It also, a REVAL supposedly aligns with assessments with current market values, and it promotes transparency and public confidence in the tax system. And I was doing as much research as I could. It seems that Margate has successfully been able to delay and kick the can down the road a little bit. They just got an extension from the Atlantic County Board of Taxation in 2021. They were okay to do 2024, an assessment or a REVAL in 2024. and that came and went. So Margate has some superpowers, man. And, it's all politics and who you know, I guess. Cher, how does this affect you? Should buyers know about this, or when you're pricing a property, I would assume that comes into, you consider that as somewhat, or no?
Well, like I said, buyers should always be aware that it's on the table. We're due for a reassessment, that when they're looking at their budget, they need to assume, unfortunately, that those taxes are going to go up. Even though, like what I said earlier, I'm hoping that when they do reevaluate, that, just makes it fair, but the tax rate actually goes down when the value goes up, so that the taxes remain fairly stable, right? Like, because you have a valuation, but there's a tax rate that goes with it. And that's what your taxes are. The assessment times your tax rate of your town. And that's your taxes. So if one's going up, we would hope the other's going down. But that's the part I don't hear him talking about, or the townships talking about. Like, yes, we're going to do a reassessment. The values are going to be more in line with the market. But with that, we are expecting that the rate for our township is, for the schools, and what you contribute is going to go down. But I mean, I do think there is a lot of disparity, like what he's saying and what you said earlier. 1/3 are paying too much, 1/3 are paying too little, and 1/3 are about right. But yeah, I mean, you look at those reassessment dates, they're all before the pandemic, except for Atlantic City, which did theirs in 2020. So probably they didn't take into account a lot of the pandemic increases. So there definitely needs to be something to make things more in line with what's going on in the market.
And one more quick video, 2 minutes long. Bill Spadea, when he was on the radio, he's actually running for governor now in New Jersey. This is not a political thing, but he was talking about this years ago on his radio show. Let's listen real quick.
I want to talk about this New Jersey municipality revaluation, which is happening maybe in a
It has music? I didn't know that.
town near you. There are 30 municipalities in New Jersey that have not had a revaluation or reassessment in 25 years. Now, there are 3 that are immediately being ordered to reevaluate their home property value: Jersey City, Elizabeth, and Dunellen. I've gotten a ton of tweets on this, and if you want to join that conversation, @Bill_Spadea is my handle. You can follow me there. People saying they've got neighbors and friends who are in homes they would be able to sell for millions, and they're valued and assessed in the lower 2s or 3s. Now, let me tell you what that means to you. Let's say you're living in a town and your home is valued or assessed at $400,000. You're paying $10,000 in taxes. Not unheard of in New Jersey. You know, there are places up in Essex County, $800,000 homes that are paying $32,000 a year in taxes. But let's take that $400,000 range, and you're paying about 10. And then think about if your home is worth, though, actually on the market, and has been for a number of years, $900,000. That means you're paying about half of what you should. Now, I'm not advocating that you need to pay more. I am, however, advocating that there is a fairness among everyone in New Jersey. And to me, the state has been grossly negligent.
There you go. So he's saying that it's the state's responsibility. Other people told me it's the county, but it seems like Denny Levinson, the county exec, he's frustrated by all of this. And it seems like nobody wants to touch it because there's, it's still a very frothy economy when it comes to real estate. A lot of money is exchanging hands. Why do you want to upset the apple cart? So final thoughts on this, Paul, and then we'll get into what's the 30-year fix look like and what does 2025 look like for financing a home?
Politics. It's all about politics. Everyone wants to have their hand in the cookie jar. Once they adjust this, it could be a catastrophic, decline for property or for tax values. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's probably in their favor, the state, to continue to do this. Somebody at some point is going to get impacted, whether it's the one in the lower third, middle third, or upper third. So I see probably zero adjustment. It's going to be regular moving forward. Everything will kind of be the same. I highly doubt that the state's going to lower anybody's taxes when they've already paid it at a higher point.
Okay, so what about me? I want to go buy a house right now. I call you up and I say, Paul, how can I got X amount of a deposit. I got some, I saved up 100 grand and I want to buy this $1 million home. I call you and what's the first thing we talk about? What do you think?
Sure. I mean, listen, I think having someone buying in this market, we've talked about it before, it's a very good opportunity to buy just because there's the lack of competition with rates still are elevated. You know, a 30-year fixed rate credit is solid. Primary residence, second home. The primary residence rate's going to be somewhere about 6.875, as well as the second home is going to be sitting somewhere at around 7 and 3/8, 7.5. There's an inflated rate when you're looking at second homes. It's more risk averse for both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, so they have an adjustment on rates when you're looking at second home. This is something that it's kind of new. I think early 22 this went into play. So, you know, the market is definitely fragile. The validity is probably the highest that I've seen. I mean, you could talk to me today and I can give you a rate, and the next day it's a 0.25% difference. So that validity in the market does give some people the opportunity to take advantage of buying maybe at a higher rate, but again, less competition, might be able to negotiate in some cases. So
Is the new occupant in the White House affecting how people think about mortgages and finance, et cetera?
I mean, typically, historically, whether it's Democrat or Republican, any change of office, anyone that gets in there the first 30 days, they want to try to make a statement. So, you know, historically, we would probably see some type of reduction. But I think with the inflation number that we have, and the two big key indicators are inflation as well as job report jobs numbers. They're the two that are really driving this force. As you can see, the 10-year we hit its highest point, I think, since April of last year. It was at one point at, you know, getting close to 4.9. So it's a tough market. I just think that don't let a rate impact your ability to buy. It's a short-term rate. And then there's obviously opportunity down the road to refinance.
And how does this affect your day-to-day, Sherry Lilienfeld of EXP? I know a lot of people are cash buyers, but they have to leverage some asset probably. Do your clients ever bring up the rates and how it affects their decision to buy or maybe not to buy, maybe just rent, et cetera?
Not really, not in the second home market, but I do want to comment. And Paul has said this many times. If you find the house you like, you should make an offer and try to buy it. When I ran the numbers again, so when you've talked to me about what's going on in the market, look, when we had a presidential election year, things tend to freeze because, as Paul said, you know, regardless of Republican or Democrat who's ever coming in, people just like kind of stop and wait to see what happens. Then we had the holidays. So I do want to say, did run the numbers this morning, and you know, it's from what I could see, it's totally a buyer's market. You know, there's not a lot of inventory. There's not a lot moving, right? So the sellers are getting antsy. Like, why isn't my house being shown? Like, where are the buyers? So if you are a buyer, you want to buy, like, I would just encourage you to come in and make an offer on something, because some people are getting a little, you know, look, my home's been on the market for a few months. Ventnor, their inventory, 28% had price reductions. 28%.
I saw something on the market that got originally listed at about $1 million, and they took 100 grand off. Now it's down to 900. Those are big drops. A 10% drop. That's a sign of the times a little bit. So it's more of a buyer's market.
Yeah, I would say so. So coupling with what Paul said, you know, if you really want to buy something, go out there and find it and negotiate your deal. And I think the sellers are more amenable to having a conversation with you and you working out your terms.
Well, what if I want to buy a property overlooking the Back Bay, Amherst Avenue in Margate? This is right in front of the open bay. It's not blocked. It's a beautiful view. What about this property? You were telling me about this is a awesome property right there on Amherst Avenue, huh?
Well, so this is, but I do want to say it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. This is a great property if someone wants to be in Margate. Obviously, you don't have a lot of people to sleep in the house as a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. You have occupancy issues. It has a assigned parking spot. You can walk to all the restaurants, and you do get a great bay view.
And you
course,
can also
yeah.
stumble home from memories at any time, and it's easy. No Uber
Yes.
cost or anything. It's nice.
That's right.
Yeah. So this property was $364,000. It's I said it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with assigned parking. The building next to it is part of the whole condo association. So I think there's six units in the one building you're facing and 10 in that one, and they all have parking, and there's one spot that's available for guests, but it's like first come first serve between all the units. Monthly association fees $346, recently updated, and we could show some pictures near it, but I just wanted people to get a perspective of where it is.
Yeah, let me give you the actual listing itself. So what do we do? Which do we click on the actual photos?
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right.
So, a nice kitchen. Again, it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. It's great for someone that likes to just come down to Margate and, you don't want a house to maintain. You want a place to hang your hat, as they say. Yeah. So I just wanted to, we talked about just highlighting certain listings. Of course, I'm happy to represent anyone who's interested in this as a buyer's agent. So yeah, so that's the deck. That's the living area. They have some sunset pictures you could see if you toggle a little more of what you see from the bay. It's a big living space. Like I said, it's been updated.
Yeah, if you're a weekend warrior and you want a place to run down to the shore and be in the middle of all the new restaurants and the dancing and the nightclubs and the drinking and the bay views, it really is the perfect place for a weekend getaway. So it's really definitely a vacation kind of place. Maybe you don't have a whole family and you're trying to live there full time. That can be a little tough, but.
You could throw a lot of air mattresses in that living room. No, I didn't say that. You have occupancy issues, but
and that's what you look at from the front of your home.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd highlight it. Look, as we look at all these $2 million+ homes that keep on hitting the market, like think about a smaller townhome for people that don't need the big 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath home and don't want that expense. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you can call me and I'm happy to take you through and represent you as a buyer's agent.
I think that's I think we did a pretty good job. Anything else that you wanted to bring up before we say goodbye?
I'm good. Looking forward to this year. I think mortgage applications, though, are anticipated to be up by 28% this year. That's in theory that we will see a reduction in rate here at some point. But again, don't be afraid to buy with higher rates, less competition. So
it is. Do you think as we round the corner now, the real estate interest that people are thinking about renting or buying, now's the time people start thinking about the summer, right, Sharon? Do you get the feeling that they're skittish a little bit, and maybe last year's pricing when they put a listing price out there was a little too frothy, as they say, and they're getting back down to reality? Yeah, like I said, Ventnor had 28% price reductions. Margate was 22%. So I think people are seeing, look, they're listing their homes. They're not getting the showings. They need to get the attention of the buyers. Again, you buyers, if you're out there, come out and look. Don't be afraid to make an offer. Talk to Paul about mortgage, and Rate has this great program where they will refinance within a couple of years. Well, you could tell Paul about your Rate refinancing deal without fees. Go ahead, Paul. Tell them about that. I love that program. Yeah, it's actually a strong program where we will cover anyone's lender fees for any refinance that you come back and do with us. Keep the
costs down. Obviously, we had experience with your loan recently closing. We have a lot of your documentations and make it for a very fast transaction. You can close a refinance nowadays in 10 to 14 days. So looking forward to getting into that refinance boom as we get further into the summer months.
And I do want to say we typically see things picking up after the Super Bowl. That's normally so early, once you get to mid-February, that's when we really see things heat up. The buyers start coming down. That's when they're out of the holiday mode, out of the winter mode, and they really start thinking about turning the corner for the warm weather. And we could certainly use some warm weather. Oh, there is one thing I do want to mention with this cold weather. If you have a home here that is not that you're not there, please think about winterizing it or have someone check on it. Run the water. I have clients, they call me, can you just check on my house? Some of them have temperature alarms that go off or moisture alarms. If there's a busted pipe, I'll go in. Look, I don't do property watch, so I'm not promoting that. I'm just telling you, check on your home and make sure there's no busted pipes, or have someone professional do it, someone in a property watch service. It's really worthwhile to have property watch service, and I'm not endorsing anyone specifically. I'm not getting anything out of this. I just hate to see someone suffer from a broken pipe because they weren't there or didn't have their heat. Like, don't shut your heat off. Some people shut their heat off. Unless your home is winterized, do not do that. So anyway, just wanted to say that with these.
Yeah, it's really that cold down here. It's that type of a season when we see some busted pipes, and then you show up a couple of weeks later and you realize that your whole basement is one big ice cube. That's a horrible to find that.
Yeah, and like a place you see it a lot are with like outside showers and hose bibs. Like people don't realize, you're supposed to drain those outside showers, take the plugs off, open up the faucets. The hose bibs, there's certain type of hose connections that you're supposed to take that hose off the hose bib. And just there's a lot of little things. Definitely read up on it. I did post an article on my website about it. But call a property watch company and have them check on your company, or if you have a friend or neighbor, please have them check on it.
And if you go to DownbeachBUZZ.com, just subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter, DownbeachBUZZ.com. Some of the news stories we have just posted is the city of Longport, actually the borough of Longport, sent 5 of their best, their best in blue police officers to D.C. to help out in assisting in the security of the presidential inauguration. Peter Frampton, how many here, you can raise a hand, let me see a show of hands. How many people own Frampton Comes Alive, the double album?
Oh, that I don't have.
Yeah, you couldn't pass go unless you had a Peter Frampton record, but he's playing the Hard Rock. It's his farewell tour coming to the Hard Rock Atlantic City, and that is on April 5. Another story about shady contractors. There's a lot of good ones, but a couple of bad apples sneak in between. This gives you a little recap of things that you kind of maybe have forgotten that you got to trust but verify. Shady contractors. We come down and we got some information about the Super Bowl from the Jewish Family Service. They're looking for some help in restocking their food pantry. Got a great story on Florida Cold Cuts, a very delicious place to go. Ula, she offered me, Sherry. Ula was
your lips? Were you getting your lips done?
Be nice. Be nice. She offered a service. Oh, I see what you were saying. Ula, actually, I play pickleball with her husband, and Ula has a great spot right there next to Santucci's, believe it or not. She was featured in Philadelphia Style, so we did a nice little write-up for her. Great place. She said, hey, thank you. Would you like to come in and try one of our services? And I immediately thought of you. You could use it. You do facials on occasion, right?
Occasionally, usually when I get a birthday present, gift certificate. Unfortunately, I don't take care of myself as much as I should. But
I did tell Ula, even though that she can help people with her services, I said that it might be tough for Sherry Lilienfeld to be helped because she's already at the beauty level of 11, so she can't. No matter what Ula can do.
All right,
no,
we need to
no matter
stop
what Ula can do,
We-
it's not going to help because she's already maxed out the beauty
Wait, Paul
thing.
wanted to say something. What were you going to say, Paul?
I'm good. You guys you're going to go out here with all of your different advertising.
All right. All right, Paul. I know we're
All right,
starting to get
guys.
silly. All
See you
right,
guys.
we'll talk to
See ya.
you. Thanks. The moment we start talking about getting goofy, Paul said, I got to get the hell out of here. I can't
I
be.
know. He's, yeah. I don't blame him. I need to hang up too.
Oh, say hi to Sal D'Angelo, Salvatore. He's the proprietor of D'Angelo's in Center City, Philly. He's checking out the Down Beach Buzz. Hi, Sal. Hope you're feeling good.
Hi, Sal.
Salvatore, yeah.
Salvatore.
And just to finish, we have to welcome the all brand new administration in Longport. They have a brand new mayor as well. Did a piece on Ventnor Coffee. Man, Johnny O and the Classic Dogs of Love. Johnny, he died. He passed away. I used to play. I used to always was a DJ when he would play the clubs, especially in Center City, Philly, like Polo Bay. Johnny O and the Classic Dogs of Love. Johnny has passed away, sadly. We got another listing here. If you want to go through this, the Baglivo thing was delayed, I believe, the court appearance and the whole issue with the hearing with Mr. Baglivo and the Margate Gardens apartment complex challenge. That was delayed. And it looks like Jelly Roll has joined Jason Aldean and a whole bunch of other great country artists for Wildwood's Country Music Fest 2025. Sherry, I'm jealous. I mean, remember back in the day when Atlantic City used to have all these big beach concerts and the air show, the Miss America? But now Wildwood seems to get all the good stuff. But I did hear some rumors that they might try to pull back Miss America. I'd be okay with that.
Oh, that would be fantastic. It was so sad when that left. I mean, people think of Miss America in Atlantic City. Some people didn't even realize it left. Like I was talking to someone, they didn't even realize it left. It left years ago.
And real quick rundown on this new property that you just relisted. It's amazing. I think it's going to get snapped up. I think it's priced right, a great location, and people are now past the holidays. 105 South Essex.
Yes, it's it was built in 2019, but occupied in 2020. The current owner really did a lot of upgrades, and everyone that goes through says, wow, it's so beautiful inside. The furnishings really tastefully done.
It's all furnished too. Wow.
Mostly there's a few bedrooms that the primary bedroom, the furniture is not going to stay in one of the other bedrooms, but yeah, it's a really beautiful property, 4-stop elevator. So you go right from the bottom to the top. Just really tastefully done, lots of upgrades. 2 laundry areas, one on the main level, one on the bedroom level.
And we're looking at 3.9 mil.
Yeah.
And it's right there, 105 South Essex in Margate.
Yes. Yep. And it's a great, what's nice about this. So if you've ever looked at the beach at night, it's black. It's not that interesting, but this home, is on a beach block where you see the Margate Pier. So at night, that pier is lit up. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful daytime, nighttime. It just makes the beach view more interesting. The other thing is it's not that far from the Ventnor Boardwalk, and everybody loves walking, running, bike riding on the boardwalk. So it's really close to that. So that's a really nice feature for some of, the things people come to Down Beach for.
Okay. All right. So how can people reach out to you, Sherry? And we'll say goodbye for now. How can people find Sherry Lilienfeld from eXp Realty?
Well, my cell phone number, 609-287-1795, or they can email me at realtysherry.com, and Sherry's SHERRI. I'm sorry, realtysherry@gmail.com.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank
Very
you.
good. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Let me see.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, yeah, I got to get